is the United Kingdom following in the footsteps of the US presidency, headed up by Donald Trump, the US president, a dum-dum that he is. You see, the population in the United Kingdom are turning away from the main parties and looking to the Reform Party as their saviour. They no longer believe in the Labour Party. They lost faith in the Conservative Party for good blooming reason. How many flipping Prime Ministers have we had? Well, unfortunately, the leader of the Reform Party is Nigel Farage. A known racist, fascist, Nazi, you could say. Now, quite frankly, these people are the lack of thinking. The people in the party, stupid as stupid does, and those who think that they are their messiahs. But they're not. They're like naughty little children that they are. Just telling these people what they want to hear. No way of actually making that happen, even if they were in power. No. So, the Labour Party needs to go a long way to actually change their minds, but I can't see it happening. You see, it's very hard to get people to change their minds once they're already made up. And we saw that with Brexit, didn't we? You saw it with Donald Trump, MAGA. Crazy. Stupid is as stupid does, you could say, but unfortunately that is where we are, and unfortunately the Labour Party really have not got a clue, because they are enacting methods that, quite frankly, suck up to the racist followers of Nigel Farage. If you follow somebody like Nigel Farage, you are tarnished with the same brush. You're also a racist, quite frankly, or just stupid. Sorry, I just say as I see it. It's just how I see it. Now, the thing is, you see, the immigration rules in the United Kingdom, they've become more stringent, more strict. In fact, they are blocking visas of people who had no trouble accessing the United Kingdom for holidays as they did before. That they did before. Why would they be blocked now? Just like this Nigerian family, okay? And this Nigerian family, they're not poor or anything. Why would they want to come to the UK and stay when that's not where their business is? Well, part of it might be actually come to that. Now, the Home Office, that is, has been accused of a racist crackdown. Now, there's been loads of stories like this going on at the moment in the UK. Not as much as they're going on in the United States with your ICE, the ICE Gestapo. Now, the Home Office has been accused of a racist crackdown on Nigerians after refusing a visa to a man who runs, West Africa's, I think it's the largest, actually, security firm. They provide security for politicians, what have you, in Nigeria, but also in the UK. How's that going to work? So, yes, it's one of the country's top security firms for holiday, and they basically want a holiday to see their family. It's her sister, the husband's sister-in-law. So Samuel Onwekashi runs BK Security Limited, which provides close protection for high-profile people in Nigeria and abroad. He and his wife, a successful businesswoman, who had applied to come to the United Kingdom with their 18-month-old child for 3 weeks in the summer, so they could spend time with her sister-in-law, and her husband. Now, Nick Beals, who is head of the campaigning at Ramphele, which supports vulnerable migrants, despite Iburushi Beals and Beals has undertaken to support the family during their trip, a Home Office official turned down the visa application. The refusal letter states that the sponsorship does not satisfy me on your own intention to leave the United Kingdom on completion of your visit. It adds that the future visits are also likely to be refused. That this is someone who's regularly travelled to and from Nigeria and the United Kingdom. So why now? Why now? Now, I'll be absolutely straight with you. My son-in-law and my granddaughters, effectively, well, they're English, but their father's Nigerian, right? And he regularly travels to and from, and he currently has a UK. He's got a 10-year, I think it's 10-year visa. He's got a long-term work visa, work permit, and all that. It's 10 or 5 year. Anyway, whatever it might be, he's a techie, and he's actually bought a house in the UK now as well with my daughter, and they've got 4 kids in the UK. Lovely little things. In fact, they're coming to visit in 2 months' time. So anyway, the point being is, obviously worries me that he's going to end up having trouble renewing his visa in the future, but also if he travels back to see his mother and what have you, will he have problems getting back again? There's lots of... The only thing I would say about the United Kingdom, if he's got a visa, there'll be no trouble at the border. There won't be a case of, what's your social media? There won't be any of that. So as long as he's got his visa, he'll be absolutely fine. But it's whether or not it gets reissued, isn't it, And what hassle he has at the border. He's a nice guy, He's a hard-working fella. I cannot take that away from him. And he's very, very good with the kids in the sense of their education. Very good. To the point that they're being 3 years ahead in their reading. It's very, very advanced. It was reported last month that the government was planning to clamp down on visa applications for people from several countries, including Nigeria. Now, that is rather daft as well, because we are very dependent on Nigerians coming to the United Kingdom for nursing. Now, Nigeria has themselves put some limitations on that now. There was going to be a 5 or 10 year limitation on newly trained nurses. They've got to do a certain amount of time in Nigeria before they seek nursing work elsewhere. And obviously, for obvious reasons, they're paid for the education in Nigeria. And obviously they want to make use of that in Nigerian hospitals. But many of them, they get the education and what have you, and then they want to go straight to the UK because they get more money. Obviously. But the UK is headhunting them, as well as from other places, because we've got one hell of a shortage. Now, since Brexit in the UK, we have more... this is the I don't know, eat your own face scenario, When the Brexiters voted because they hate people with brown faces, because let's be fair, that's about racism, wasn't it? All right, Brexit was about racism. Whatever excuse you give it, it's about racism. And now they've got more brown faces than they had before in the NHS, because we had no choice. We had people coming from Europe coming to the United Kingdom for work, and now we can't get those people because I said sod you, and now we're going for people from Nigeria with brown faces. So the racists are up in arms even more. So it's like shooting themselves in the foot, and who do they blame? They obviously blame the governments, but it's their own bloody fault for voting for Brexit in the first place. Stupid people. That's what I'm saying. It's just one oxymoron after another. Then, unfortunately, the United Kingdom is full of a lot... Well, put it like this. There are a lot of morons. Anyone who would vote for Nigel Farage or support Nigel Farage is clearly a moron. That they are. Sorry. I'll just say it as I see it. I'm not going to lie to you. I think you are a moron. Plain and simple. Now, leave in the comments down below if you want to defend that. The fact that you're not a moron. I'll probably come back to you and say, yes, you are. So anyway. Now, Samuel and his wife both run successful businesses in Nigeria and have no interest in remaining in the United Kingdom, they say here. But why would they? Their businesses in Nigeria. That's how they get their money. They're not coming to the United Kingdom to get their money. Come and visit the family. This is just getting ridiculous. Now, I know it's worse than the United States, but it does worry me that we're heading in that direction. And Nigel Farage gets to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? The shit's going to hit the fan. It really is. I'll tell you something, though. He still ain't going to be able to dump the migrant boats coming over the channel back in France. No. They won't have that, I'll tell you. They'll have nothing from Nigel Farage. Because all the leaders in the EU absolutely hate him. Unless it's obviously Viktor Orban, if you know what I mean. And maybe, I don't know, Gert Wilders and people like that. Anyway, what do you reckon? Do you think the United Kingdom has is becoming a racist country? Or was it always was? Now, for me, it worries me. Now, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, okay? Growing up through childhood and as a young man as well, I might not have been that great towards people who happen to be black and what have you. Not because I saw a problem with them. I was just worried I was going to say the wrong thing. I was petrified, if I'm being honest, because I'm a blur. Right, you probably tell. And it's that I'd worry I was going to say the wrong thing. That I'd get in trouble, effectively, or upset somebody. I don't know. And it's that. But you know, I kind of like over the years, and also doing this channel as well. You know, over the years, you grow up, don't you? You get to learn that there is no fear. There is no worry. Just don't do stupid stuff. You know? Like vote for parties, for instance, that quite frankly is voting against your own best interests. You know, as Oldens and what have you, I'm not going to make excuses for us if we did things that might have been seen as a little bit racist. Like, for instance, we had the Robinson's Jam, you know, the black and white minstrel show and stuff like that. I didn't see any of that stuff as being racist. I didn't see black people as being inferior to me. It was just how it was. That's what we were surrounded with at the time. And you later learn, hang on, crikey, that was bloody racist, wasn't it? Oh, crikey, if I was a black person, how would I feel about this? It's just nasty, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. You know? And it's just ignorance, I suppose. It was our own ignorance. And I'm first to admit it. Maybe I was a little bit ignorant at the time. But it's not because I was trying to be horrible to people. Not because I saw them being any lesser a person than me, you know. And there were some very eye-opening programmes that, while we were growing up, like there was one in the UK called Roots, if anybody can remember, leave the comments down below. And it kind of showed you, it's quite controversial in some ways, because, you know, with everything else that was going on at the time regarding Robinson's Jam and the Gollywogs and all that sort of stuff, you know. And it's, even my sister had a Gollywog toy. She didn't see it as, I don't think she saw it as a Gollywog, not as a black person doing black, or white person doing blackface or something, or whatever it was, or whatever it's supposed to represent. I don't really know, to be honest. You know, we were kids. We were kids. Unfortunately, some people never grew up from that. They never learn. And they're still bloody racist. They're still arseholes, basically. Anyway, what do you say? Please leave in the comments down below. Toodaloo.